Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher, and we are here to discuss Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur from the fourth round of the FA Cup. Back on yesterday, Sunday night, big live match on TV in the UK, and what a performance to back it up. The feel-good factor is back at Villa Park. We got the new signings, Rashford, Asensio, a great first half performance, and we will be discussing all of that and much more after this. Yes, and welcome back to Coupe de Villa Live. I'm here with Noah. Please make sure you're all liked and subscribed to the channel. Make sure you tell your friends about us as well, because we've got a lot of content coming in 2025. The end of the season is here. The transfer window is over. We've got Marcus Rashford, Marcus Asensio, we've got Garcia, we've got Marlon. We're ready to go for this final push. And this was the start of it, Noah. And, Aussie Ange and his under pressure Spurs came to Villa Park. And, of course, they had a pretty good record against us. They've beaten us pretty heavily recently a couple of times. So it was always going to be a tough game, a bit of a test. But I thought that first half we were outstanding. We blew them out of the water. It should have been 3-4 at halftime. The likes of Ramsey, Rogers, McGinn, Marlon just took it to Spurs. And if it wasn't for the goalkeeper and maybe some better sort of decision-making in that final third, we could have gone in at halftime a bit more comfortable than just a 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. It proves how important Jacob Ramsey is to us. Now having him back firing and whatnot, it's been a bit of a patch that he's been able to get through, and he's starting to show how good he can be. He's absolutely sensational. That link up with Morgan Rogers, they seem to be like best friends these days, and hopefully Marcus Rashford can get in that link up as well one day. But how good? I mean, we know Tottenham are injury deprived, and all you hear on the news here is Ange Postecoglou under pressure. And I didn't give a shit, to be honest with you. If he gets sacked, it doesn't bother me as long as Aston Villa get the win. And we should have won by more. We absolutely know we should have. But most importantly, Scott, we're in the hat. That's all I care about. We could have won by 1, 2, 10. I didn't care as long as we get in the next round.
Absolutely. Goal difference doesn't matter in the cup at all. It's just about getting through. It doesn't matter really how you did it, but it did feel like a feel-good factor. The new signings, when they were warming up, when they were coming out to the bench, got a huge cheer when they came on, especially Rashford. And he just looks like Asensio as well, but they just look like they've got a bit of a weight off their shoulders. I mean, I'm sure we've all been watching the clips of Asensio's back heel to Rogers, or the chance where we built up all the way from the back and Rashford did that lovely little touch in the center circle to get Rogers away. Just the flowing football, I think, is the biggest story from the game. I mean, like I said, it's great to get through. That's the most important thing. But I just found like something clicked, and I haven't seen that all season, for an extended period. And I think for most of the game, yes, Spurs came back into it a bit at the end, but for the majority of the game, we played not only a good game, it was an exciting game, get yourself off your seat sort of a game. And under the lights of Villa Park, what no better place to do it.
And it looked absolutely freezing. I was messaging our mate Owen. He was sitting in the Trinity Road last night with Max Simon and the boys, and he said the wind was on that stand the entire 90 minutes, and he was absolutely frozen solid. So dedication again to the fans that stuck it out, and Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Scott? Under the lights of Villa Park, special things happen. I've been there a couple of times under the lights. You think of Bayern Munich game. You think of, I was there when we beat Watford 2-1 to get out the relegation zone in 2020.
Yeah,
it's one of those bizarre things that just under the lights of Villa Park, anything's possible. With fans, no fans, Liverpool 7-2 technically under the lights as well.
Absolutely. And, that first goal in the first minute, what a start. Jacob Ramsey on the score sheet. Yes, the goalkeeper probably feels like he could have done better, but the move itself I'm finding this the more Kamara is playing as a centre-back, it's not just Tielemans now sort of playing those passes. He's stepping into those positions and playing that ball into Rodgers, that ball that cuts out 3 or 4 midfielders, and he just gets in that number 10 position in that little pocket. And once he gets in there, he's so confident at the moment just to take the ball on the back foot, turn, and run at the back four, which he did. And, again, like Jacob Ramsey, I know we've got Rashford on that side now, but Ramsey seems to have just lifted his game to say, don't forget about me because, I'm here too.
Well, that's what he was capable of. That, we saw that at the end of Emery's first kind of tenure in charge when we made that push for the Conference League. And he started off when he got fit last season, started off okay, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. I mean, if he had the run that, like, for example, like Morgan Rogers or Ollie Watkins, like those very fit players have had, he could be anything. I know that Tommy has his controversial opinions on selling him, but he just keeps proving why he could easily be in our best 11 and probably should be in our best 11 at the moment. He's absolutely outstanding and he deserves the goals because that's something he just started to add to his game before he got injured, and it's something he gradually started to get back, but he's so important to us.
Yes, 2 seasons ago, he had that really good end to the season. And then last year it was, very in and out, very sort of injury prone sort of season. And this year has been similar up until maybe like a month or so ago. And it's great to see him back. It's great to see also Daniel Marlin. I think this was the game where I was like, okay, I see it now. I can see how he can work as a number 9 because I'd watched a bit of him for Dortmund playing off the left, playing off the right. And my personal opinion, was that's his best position. He's not really a number 9. We saw against Wolves, he had a bit of a tough match, but, should have scored a goal as well. Like, had a few moments in that match. Was definitely not our worst player by a million miles. And look, and in this match, he makes intelligent runs. I think that's what I saw in this match. He's harrying defenders. He was, stretching the back four of Tottenham. And I know Tottenham are a team, unlike Wolves, that are going to try and close us down. There's a bit more space to play those passes, but, you've still got to take advantage of it. And I think, I think with Ollie maybe, being out for maybe one more game, I'm not really sure. There is talk he might be back for Ipswich.
It was 10 days from the injury, so I reckon he'll be back for Ipswich.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah, because we could do with it. But look, Marlon, I think, had a great game, and I feel a lot better about that number 9 position being covered when Ollie's not there than I was maybe a week or 2 ago. Yeah,
I don't want to comment on that, Scott. I don't want to open up another can of worms talking about the number 9 shirt, number 9 position.
I'm over Duran leaving now. Like
I don't believe you.
I've turned it around. Look, do I still? Would I don't know.
Scott got very angry at me. He got very angry at me for my opinions, and every time, in our chat, someone would send something about how good our window's been. I'm like, no, do not start it again, please. Do not get him going.
Look, I made my point in the last podcast. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. But look, I am glad of what we've got right now. I think they can be very effective. I'm really excited. And let's get on to the second half because I think that's when the excitement went up a level because the likes of Rashford and Asensio came on. And what a start, especially Asensio. I think he just looked like he'd been playing in that Emery system, in that Emery team for 5-6 years. You can tell he's absolute top class on the ball. The moment that we've all, I'm sure, watched 20 or 30 times on social media where he pulls the ball down from the air, one touch, and then his second touch is just a lovely little back heel right perfect way into the running. Morgan Rogers, who unfortunately hits the side netting, but their combination and just the way that he looks, wow, he could be the best signing out of the lot.
Yeah, he's sensational. I mean, look at his resume, Scott.
I know.
Like 3 Champions Leagues. We tried to sign him 2 years ago, I remember, when he went to PSG. So it's someone that we've had our eye on as a club. But I think Emery obviously will know more about him being Spanish and playing for Real Madrid against him a bunch. But I think I've watched that clip 400,000 times since this morning. And
it wasn't like he was out of favour at PSG,
No.
like maybe Rashford was at Man United. It's just that they've got like 20,000 wingers, and they just couldn't keep them all. They just bought Kvaratskhelia from Napoli, I think he was just the odd one out, and he had a really good start of the season with PSG. I was actually going back and looking at some of his stats, and he was performing well. So I don't think they really wanted to get rid of him. They just sort of had to get rid of someone. And I'm glad that he's come to us on loan. And I'd really enjoy, him going for a full-time move from what I've seen so far.
You have said that, and I wouldn't be against it either. But how exciting. It looked like these two, Rogers and Asensio, played together for 5 years. They've been trained together for a week. Under a week. Like it's absurd how just clean it fits like a glove sometimes. And even when Rashford came on, he had a nice link up with JJ and Digne and stuff. And it's like these guys are just fitted into the Emery system extremely well. And it's kind of what's leading to these exciting times. Like the fact that we can attract these kind of players at the moment on loan with options to buy and whatnot, and it's ridiculous. Like I saw someone put a post out. It might have been Dan Bardell or one of the Aston Villa Twitter accounts. Like, we've gone from subbing on Samatta and Baston for Rashford and Asensio.
Yeah, that's like 6
in 5 years. 5 years.
Five.
It's pretty cooked. Like
it is wild.
I'm pretty lucky to say like I've been on the journey. I mean, we all have. You've probably been a long one, Scott, than I have, but enjoy the ride, because obviously we've been there down the dumps, and United fans are going through it now. You just don't know how long it's going to last for. So enjoy every single second of this, because it's bloody sensational.
I think this is officially like the best team I've ever seen for Villa now. Like I think not only has the quality of the Premier League, gone to a different level. The fact that we've got Unai Emery, who's just unbelievable. I did have a soft spot for the Big Ron team back in the early 90s. That team with York, Atkinson, Dean Saunders and Paul McGrath. And, they were just a fantastic team, but not as consistent and not, they did actually win some trophies. So that's one thing. So, but that's the final thing really is Villa need a trophy, and this is a great opportunity. I mean, Liverpool lost to Plymouth yesterday. Chelsea are out. Arsenal are out. We should really be looking at this as a priority, the FA Cup, and I think we can win it. I mean, I honestly think, why not?
And I would love us to as well. Any trophy is good, but you got to look at the teams that are left, and obviously Liverpool have proven that you can be beaten on a day. We got beaten by Stevenage 2 years ago, and these lower league clubs or teams that you expect to win, they're going to be up for it. It's the magic of the cup. My family's team, Grimsby Town, went to the quarterfinals 2 seasons ago. I think they lost to Brighton, but they beat teams like Southampton in their path. So, I mean, it's why you love the FA Cup. I saw Max's video. Like, he really loves the FA Cup for that sort of reason. And on your day, anyone can beat anyone, and to win a trophy in general, Scott, I'd go on a 15-day bender. But the FA Cup is it's pretty special, because it's the only one you haven't seen us win, I believe, Scott, in your sort of lifetime as well.
Well, I've never seen us win the league. I've never seen. I mean,
not the Premier League, but technically I
was technically alive.
Yeah. So you count. You saw it, mate. Right? You saw it. I've seen us win the Championship Player Final trophy.
Right. I was about 6 months
old.
And
that Intercontinental preseason trophy, which John Terry held up, extremely pride. So, Yeah, bring on the draw. I'm really excited for it. Bring on the draw.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been 1957 was the last time we won the FA Cup. So it's been a long, long time between drinks. We've had of course, the 2000 final, the 2015 final where
No, that one gives me.
they were both very, very disappointing for different reasons. But look, yeah, this would be fantastic. And I mean, yeah, we can't count our chickens. It's only round 5. We got to see who we draw, and we've got to be consistent. And but it is exciting, and I think we got the Champions League round of 16 coming up as well. We've got these guys who are proven competitors, proven winners, have won the biggest trophies around, and they've come in to just kind of shore up that when things were looking a bit inconsistent, a bit shaky. This is giving us that shot in the arm, and I feel great. I feel really excited, not just by the result, but the performance. I just felt like this was Villa of last season. This was Villa of maybe December 2023 when we were beating City and Arsenal, and we were top of the league, and we were flying. It feels like we're coming back to that sort of form, and it is really exciting. It wasn't a perfect day, of course, because Ezri Konsa got injured.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, so that's
but
heartbreaking.
I've got to give a massive shout out. First of all, to Boubacar Kamara, who's playing centre back when he never played centre back. But how good was Bogart?
He was good.
Our right back, he kind of got caught out a lot earlier on in the season, and we kind of expected that. But central midfield or CDM and centre back, he just seems so comfortable. And also up the Mariners for Callum King, by the way. Up the Mariners. Go on.
He's much better in the middle if it's CDM or centre back, and I think he did pretty well. And I'm looking forward to him developing, because we need him and other young players like him to come through the system. I've always said
Emery didn't want to sell him or loan him out, so Emery really trusts him. I keep refreshing that physio scout on Twitter, just waiting for the Ezri Konsa post, but there's nothing yet. So
yeah, I did hear Emery say after the game that he's hopeful that it's not a big injury. So that's good to know. Hopefully it was a precaution, and it's only a week or two at most.
Well, Mings won't be far away either, especially for Ipswich. We have cover there now as well. Hopefully,
Disassi will be back. Can play against Ipswich. He couldn't play in this game because he's cup tied.
And he can't play against Chelsea, obviously, in 2 weeks.
No, he can't. So hopefully we get at least Mings back for that match. There's also the disappointing news for Daniel Marlin and Garcia that they had to be left out of the Champions League squad because we spoke about this a bit last week, and we were told by someone in the chat we could register everyone, but
I didn't think we could register everyone. But I kind of thought it's a bit stiff when you don't think the players we've let out of our squad.
Yeah,
I think we've let more out than what we've allowed to put in, and I think it's pretty stiff. So our squad has now gone, I think, from 23 or 24 to 22, which I think is pretty. Because who we got? Joe Gauch, I think, went out, but Dace, Buendia, Carlos, Duran. That's already 5, and we can only bring 3 in.
Yes, so we've gone.
We've gone backwards a bit. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but I guess it is harsh for Marlon because he has Champions League experience. He's, he can play a multitude of positions as well. But I guess you can't really leave Asensio or Rashford or Disassi out because
we can't afford to leave Disassi out. Definitely,
no, 100% because of the injuries.
You got to think how this decision would have been for Unai Emery. This would have been an absolutely tough decision. He's a nuffy when it comes to stats and whatnot, and this probably would have kept him up for multiple nights trying to figure this sort of stuff out. And I trust his decision. I hope the players do as well. But what that means for these other players that aren't in the squad, like Marlon and Garcia, there's a lot of bloody Premier League football to play. There's still a lot of games.
And I'm expecting them to start every Premier League game.
Yeah. But that Champions League rule is a bit bullshit. Like in my opinion, that's pretty stiff. That
it is, and if you got a really sort of bad injury crisis like we do, and you've got to, you got to fill in with other players, you could find yourself in a real tough position. And maybe they should look at that and just, be a bit more flexible, especially with, because 22 players for a squad isn't a lot now, So a couple more injuries and we could be in trouble for those Champions League games. But fingers crossed, everyone will be back and we'll be flying by the time we have that round of 16 game, because, that's maybe our biggest game since 1983 in terms of Villa.
European football.
In terms of European football, maybe we've had FA Cup finals and League Cup finals and things.
In my opinion, much as this might seem a bit going back a bit, I think our biggest game in recent time was the promotion match against Derby. And I'm not sure that'll be top because none of this happens unless we get promoted back to the Premier League where we belong. But I see where you're coming from. Definitely a European standpoint, and since we've been promoted, it's by far the biggest match. It's probably the biggest match I've ever seen. It's around 16. I'm still really excited to see who we get. Tyrone Mings did a great job picking up that ball against Bruges because we have a slightly easier, I guess you could say, draw for the next round. But everything happens for a reason, Scott, and I'm so excited. I'm so jealous for all the fans making the trips and packing Villa Park at the moment. It's pinch yourself stuff. It really is actually pinch yourself stuff.
And Mohamed Adam makes a great point here. Leon Bailey, I felt like he was almost back. He needs a goal. He needs a couple of, goal involvements or, just to put the, final sort of icing on the cake. But he looked like himself, like his old self, going past people on the left, on the right. And maybe it's because Asensio is there now. And Leon Bailey feels like, I might not get a game for a while if I don't pick it up. But
that's what competition does, Scott, because until Daniel Marlon even came in, Bailey wasn't even looking like it. So look, I'd love to see him back to his best. And I think it's something we need. A firing Leon Bailey's fantastic. He's something different. He offers us pace, he offers us durability, and he offers us something. I don't know how to describe it, but he's got that flair, if you know what I mean. He's got that flair that's kind of necessary.
He can go past people, which is something that with skill. Like Rodgers and Ramsey, these guys are runners, more than sort of technical skill guys. Wally Watkins is a runner too, strength, powerful, whereas Leon Bailey, especially in a game like Wolves, right, where they play 11 men behind the ball, they play a low block and we've got to kind of break them down. I think the fact we got Rashford, Asensio, Bailey now, we've got a few different guys who can actually break down teams that like to defend. And, we will have a few more options, a bit more of a plan B, And look, another guy that came back to form yesterday was John McGinn, the captain. Fantastic performance. Might have been man of the match. I think a lot of people said Rodgers, a lot of people said Ramsey, but McGinn
was given the on-field man of the match by
he
BBC.
was. Yeah, but I think McGinn was right there, playing in a more central role, which I think is his best position. And I think he probably relished the fact that he got to play in there with Kamara having to play in defense, with Onana and Barkley out injured. He got that opportunity to play alongside Tielemans, and just the strength, the power, the running ability, the passing,
the booty. I'm telling you.
I mean, baby got back. He is, and he is back. McGinn is back. I'm going to say it now. He's one guy I think who's also had a few niggly injuries, and firing John McGinn is something that we need, because he bleeds claret and blue. He is kind of like
Yeah.
our oldest player now. He's our captain,
Longest
and
serving, yeah.
he just gets it. And if someone like, I don't know, a Ramsey or I don't know, whoever isn't pulling their weight, he can he's one guy who's a bit of a yeller on the pitch. He can kind of maybe chew someone out and get everyone focused again, and hopefully we can use his experience to keep going and keep progressing in these 3 tournaments.
Yeah, and we're having a chat about something like this pre-pod, Scott, and I'll bring it up to the chat. I think there's 3 players that come to mind for this, but our best signing in the last 10 years.
Okay.
John McGinn, Morgan Rogers, and in my other opinion, it has to be Boubacar Kamara for now as well. As our Watkins as well. Like there's so many. Like Watkins has been unbelievable, but
Emi Martinez.
Yeah, like there's so many, and it's a tough question to answer. But I think the ceiling right now, in my opinion, is the highest.
That's a good question. Right now, who is our best signing in the last 10 years?
I'm going on ceiling at the moment. Like there's so many you could choose from, as we said. But if I was to pick the highest ceiling, like right now, I'm going Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, I think in terms of ceiling and potential, it's Rogers. I think right now it's Emi Martinez, maybe.
Yeah,
the more I think about it, just in terms of impact, Kamara is amazing, and I think he's probably our best player. So yeah, I would agree. And it was Steven Gerrard, of course, who signed Kamara. So thank you, Steven. I know you're out of work now. There's talk that he could go to Derby County or back to Rangers, or interesting to see what happens with him.
Go be a pundit.
But yeah, but what about in terms of like an Unai signing? Who's best? Unai's best signing, I think.
Well, JD9, he was a very good signing. I know it's a sensitive topic, Scott. I know it's a sensitive topic. I know. JD9 is up there.
Alex Moreno. Okay. Wow, that's come from left field. I haven't heard that name in about 6 months.
I just wanted to take you by surprise.
Wow. No, I think it's Rogers.
Well, if you go on Unai, it has to be Rogers. It has to be.
It is.
It has to be.
And he's fantastic now. He's really just scoring the goals, making the assists, doing the running. He is our go-to man in the attack right now. I think it's pretty plain to see in that attacking half. He's the first name on the team sheet. I mean, Watkins, of course, is our number 9, and but I think Rogers is really just like the fulcrum that anything goes through, especially on those transitions, on those counterattacks. It's always Rogers at the heart of it, running through the middle of the the park in that sort of number 10 position, and then setting up someone like Ramsey or Watkins or Leon Bailey or whoever it might be. So look, and just to have a bit more quality on those wingers in terms of I mean, Ramsey and Bailey are great, but in terms of goal scoring, I think having Rashford and Asensio there instead, if they get up to speed and they get fit and they get in form, I think we're going to get a lot more goals from those wings. And that's something maybe that hasn't happened this season. Like Ramsey's got a few, but not that many. Bailey hasn't got any, I don't think. Maybe one. But it's all come from Rogers and Watkins, really, and Duran when he was there, the goals. Yeah. So if we can share those goals around a bit more, that's going to be huge going into, the last few months of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great end to the season, Scott. I mean,
it's going to be good.
People writing us off for top 4 and whatnot, but if we can get back to playing our best, there's no reason why we can't catch some of these teams, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And it all starts with Ipswich.
Look, I was deflated after the Wolves game. I just really didn't see that coming. Not just the result, but the performance itself. Like the fact that we didn't even really turn up. We didn't throw a punch. And, I guess that can only be fixed in our next away game, which is Crystal Palace, I think, in the league. So, that's a huge one just for can we win home games and away games, but our home form has been great. We've only lost the one game to
Arsenal.
two games in all competitions, but one game in the league to Arsenal, one in the League Cup to Palace, where we didn't really look like we were bothered, to be honest. But
No.
In terms of the real big stuff, we've lost one game at home, and we didn't even play that badly in that game. We've had a few disappointing draws,
exactly.
but the home form has been really good, and Villa Park has had some special nights this season, and we just need to try and replicate that away from home a bit more.
Oh, that's the hardest thing to do in football. Winning away from home is so tough, no matter who you are. It's there's no away win that I go, fuck, it's gonna be easy. Like we drew to Ipswich when I was there, like that was an insanely hard place to go. It was a loud crowd, it's intimidating, the fans are close. Like people think those relegated sides or promoted sides, are going to be walkovers, but it's never really that easy wherever you go, unless you're going to St Andrews.
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, and this kind of makes me feel a bit better about top 4, top 5. And Scotty UK here is making the point that I think Bournemouth, people are saying Bournemouth have got a better chance than making Champions League or maybe winning the FA Cup than we do. But if we are going to finish in the top 5, we're going to have to probably finish ahead of the likes of Bournemouth. Maybe Nottingham Forest can come back to the pack a bit. Newcastle are a team that I think will be tough. Chelsea, I think we've probably got more chance of finishing ahead than Newcastle. I think Newcastle will finish in the top 4. And
they're a chance.
I think we're a good chance of finishing 5th, and that's probably got to be our aim. Because if we can get 5th, I think there's like a 99% chance that that'll be good enough for Champions League. So let us know in the comments, what do you where do you think we'll finish? Can we keep the good run going that we saw in this game, the good performances? Do you think we'll finish in the Champions League positions for next season? And so predictions. Should we? We'll wrap it up there. But what a time to be a Villa fan. I feel so excited after that game. I'm going to go after this and watch that Asensio backhill another 20 or 30 times, I think, because
I think so as well.
If that had only gone in the goal, the
goal from the middle of the park.
Well, no, the Rodgers at the end of it, right? If he'd put it away, like that would have been an amazing goal, especially, and the Ramsey one as well, where we went from our own box all the way, from one side of the pitch to the other and through the middle. We just had that ability to change gears and play that ball. We attack through the middle quite a lot. It's quite rare for a team to do that in this day and age. But with Rodgers playing the way we are, he's just, I don't know, you can just hit him anytime he's, even marked. And he's going to hold the ball and get away and, do something for us. But let's look to the Ipswich game, because Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, bread and butter sort of game. This is a game where it's got to be 3 points. It just has to be 3 points. We can't have a Brighton or a Bournemouth or, a West Ham and, go 1-0 up and throw it away again. I mean, that's one thing in this game. We didn't keep a clean sheet, again. So we've got to kind of, tighten up a bit at the back. I know we've got injuries, but, please, a clean sheet. Come on. Surely we're due for one against Ipswich. I'm going to say we're going to get one, and I'm going to say 3-0.
Look, I was potentially going to say 3-0. I was going to say 3 points and 3 goals, but I'm going to go 5-0. I think we're going to we're so up right now. I don't think I actually win 5-0, but it'd be great if we did. We're going to be so up. We were so elite going forward against Tottenham. Like, it's only going to go one way for us against a team like Ipswich at home. I just think we're going to absolutely batter them.
Yes, and I think Ipswich won't do a Wolves and sit in. They're actually a team that likes to play a bit of football. So I think that'll play into our hands. I guess Liam Delap, sorry, his son, is a bit of a danger. He's a good player. And, they got guys like Leif Davis on the left back who tore us to shreds a bit in the last match at Portman Road when we played Ipswich. Of course, they came back to get a 2-2 in that game, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen again because I think Man City are playing Newcastle, and there's other teams playing each other in those positions around us, and we need to put the pressure on big time.
Yeah,
and go on a run in the league, and hopefully we can have a cracking end to the season. But no, it's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Guys, make sure you've liked and subscribed to the channel. I'm sure you all have. But tell your friends about the content because we've got plenty of live shows coming up.
We want to hit 1,000. We want to hit 1,000 subs. We're desperate.
Come on.
We're not that far away in the scheme thing. We're closer to 1,000 than 0. So
yeah, make it happen. But thanks again for watching. Have a great week, and we will see you after Ipswich. So until then, see you later, and up the Villa. See ya.